here, and that is where obviously the tsunami would have been certainly felt badly here. The further, I mean, if you live right here, you're in better shape. Obviously, you're in higher ground. But if you're right along that coastal plain, that we're getting information now is about 2.6 meters here. That is significant stuff. And again, when we talk about that 8-foot wave, it doesn't necessarily mean we are getting an 8-foot wave because of the topography there, because of the coast and the shallow depth that we have there. That wave will propagate and get higher and higher as it gets closer to the coastline here. So bottom line is that I think we're going to be talking about a destructive tsunami hitting these coastal towns near the epicenter. And as we speak, in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, as we speak, there is a likely tsunami traveling and getting closer and closer to other coastlines across the Pacific here. And I'll mention the ones that are in the warning. Again, Chile, obviously, Peru also in the warning, and now we've included Ecuador here in the warning. But again, the further away you get from the epicenter, remember, throw that rock or that bowling ball in the middle of the lake, and the further away you get, the more time you have to prepare, so that we go from warnings to watches. Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Pitcairn, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, now French Polynesia also included in that watch. Hawaii not as of yet, and if I get that, certainly I will pass it along to you. I think the bottom line here, Natalie, is what we're seeing here is because of the evidence with the wave heights that we've been recording with these buoys, we have pretty good evidence that a destructive tsunami may have been generated here, and that is why you're seeing now the warnings extended to other countries and the watches also extended as well. That's one side of the story. I think it's going to be equally as tragic as the other side, which is, of course, the earthquake, an 8.8 right off the coast of Chile near very densely populated towns. And when you talk about an 8.8, my goodness, you can cross the Andes range and you can still feel it in Argentina. That is how intense the displacement of energy from an 8.8 earthquake can be, where you can fall off your bed in the middle of the night, clear across the continent. And you can imagine if that happens there, what can happen in and around, Natalie, the epicenter of that 8.8. We've been showing you some of the pictures that we're getting. I really don't believe we're going to get many pictures out of the epicenter anytime soon here, because I think that the destruction is going to be just incredible, not only from the earthquake, but also from the destructive tsunami that was likely generated from this earthquake.
Right, Ivan, and as you were speaking, we were getting our first pictures there of daylight coming in from Chile. We've been looking at all these dark pictures, but it's 7:32 right now in Chile, so we'll continue to be getting more daylight pictures of the damage. You were talking about the tsunami warnings. Perhaps we can get a little more information about that as we continue to look at daylight on Chile, as we talk with the geologist from Georgia Tech here in Atlanta, Georgia. Kurt Frankel joins us on the line. Mr. Frankel, if you could first, we'll talk about the earthquake in a moment. Let's talk about the likely tsunami. Can you shed some light on what perhaps, who perhaps could experience that?
Well, certainly in this sort of plate tectonic setting where you have two plates converging and the oceanic plate subducting beneath the South American continent, the Nazca plate subducting beneath the South American continent, those sorts of plate tectonic settings tend to produce tsunami when you have large earthquakes like this, and certainly any low-lying coastal areas would be in danger, as we saw in 2004 with, say, the Sumatra earthquake.
So it will be a while before we know just, who all could be impacted from the tsunami.
Yeah, and certainly these waves could travel long distances. Of course, they haven't issued a warning yet for say Hawaii, but that's always a possibility that those waves could travel across the ocean. But more likely is that it'll be a more localized wave that affects the west coast of South America in close proximity to the earthquake.
Well, that is some good news. Thanks for that information. What did you think when you first saw, and tell us about the fact that this is an 8.8 earthquake that has occurred?
I mean, that's a large earthquake. To put it in perspective, in terms of the earthquake that happened recently in Haiti, Haiti was, of course, 7.0, and for each 1 magnitude increase on the magnitude scale, it's a times more energy release. So this earthquake's almost 1,000 times stronger than the Haiti earthquake that happened a month ago.
That's amazing to try to even comprehend once we saw what happened in Haiti. And I'm sure because Haiti happened just a short while ago, Mr. Frankel, that people are probably wondering, is there any connection between these earthquakes occurring in the general same area along this rim of fire? Can you tell us about that?
No, I don't think that there's any connection. And just, it's a very sporadic process. And, we can't predict earthquakes, and I don't think that there's any connection between these. It's just a coincidence that we had 3 large earthquakes if you include Japan and Solomon Islands recently.
Sure. Yeah.
But the Ring of Fire, of course, is very active. You've got plates colliding with each other all around the Pacific Ocean, which is why you have lots of earthquakes in this region and of course, lots of volcanic activity. So, but I don't think there's any connection between the two.
Give us a little more of a geological lesson, if you can, and expand on the Rim of Fire. And you're talking from where south? Certainly we all know San Francisco, but give us a little more of a geology report about what's going on along these coasts.
Okay, so along the entire coast of western South America, you have both the Nazca Plate in the northern part, and northern and central South America, and then the southern South America, the Pacific Plate, both of which are subducting or sort of diving beneath the South American continent. And so those oceanic plates are denser than the continental plate of